The heat doesn't just surround you in Fallujah. It enters you. It crawls inside your lungs with every breath, thick and suffocating, like inhaling steam from a kettle that's been boiling for hours. Hunter feels it now, pressing against his chest, seeping through the Kevlar vest that clings to his torso like a second skin. 45 degrees Celsius, maybe more. The kind of heat that turns concrete into a griddle and makes the air shimmer in waves above the shattered rooftops. He breathes. In, out. Slow, controlled. 55 beats per minute. The same rhythm he's maintained for the past 2 hours, lying motionless on the 3rd floor of what used to be a pharmacy. The building smells like rot, spoiled medicine, burned plastic, and something else. Something organic that's been baking in the Iraqi sun for too long. His right eye stays locked to the scope of his M40A3. 700 meters of urban wasteland spreads before him through the glass. Broken walls, collapsed awnings, a rusted-out sedan with no doors, and windows. Hundreds of dark, empty windows staring back like the eye sockets of skulls. The radio crackles in his ear. Static first, then a voice. "Overwatch, this is Alpha 2. We're Oscar Mike to Checkpoint Bravo. How's the neighborhood looking?" Hunter shifts his jaw, feeling the grit of dust between his teeth. He tastes copper, always copper in this city. "Alpha 2, Overwatch," he responds, his voice barely above a whisper. "Sector clear. No movement. No thermals. You're green." "Copy that," keeping it tight. The transmission ends with a click. Silence returns, broken only by the rhythmic thump of a ventilation fan somewhere below. A blade spinning uselessly in the skeletal remains of the building. In the distance, maybe 3 kilometers out, artillery rumbles like an approaching thunderstorm. The whole city feels like it's holding its breath. Next to Hunter, his spotter, Corporal Danny Jax Jackson, adjusts the loopholed spotting scope mounted on its tripod. Jax is younger, 23 maybe, with a Carolina drawl that makes everything sound like a question. Good kid, solid under fire. Talks too much when he's nervous. "You ever think about how many people used to live here?" Jax whispers, not taking his eye from the scope. "Like normal people, going to work, buying bread." Hunter doesn't answer immediately. He's learned that Jax doesn't always need answers. He just needs to fill the silence. "Now it's just us and the ghosts," Jax continues. "And that motherfucker out there somewhere." That motherfucker. Ghost. That's what they call him. The call sign came through intelligence 3 days ago, along with a grainy photograph and a kill count that made even the battalion commander go quiet. 12 confirmed. All American. All snipers. 3 Marine scout teams had pushed into this sector looking for him. Only 1 Marine from each team walked back out. The others stayed behind, each with a single 7.62 millimeter hole through the brainstem. Hunter shifts his weight slightly, feeling the concrete press against his hip bone. His ghillie suit, strips of burlap and dyed fabric sewn onto netting, helps break up his silhouette, but it also traps heat like a wool blanket. Sweat runs down his spine in rivulets, pooling at the small of his back. He doesn't mind the discomfort. Discomfort keeps you sharp. It's comfort that kills. "Control, this is Overwatch," Hunter murmurs into his radio. "Requesting sitrep on target Ghost. Any fresh intel?" A pause. Then a different voice, older, rougher. Staff Sergeant Kowalski from the TOC. "Negative, Overwatch. Last confirmed sighting was 0400 hours, grid, November, Whiskey, 47. No joy since then. He's playing hide and seek, and he's winning. Copy. We'll keep glass on target. Hunter. The use of his actual name makes him tense. Kowalski never uses names on comms unless it's serious. Yes, Sergeant? 3 teams, brother. 3. Don't be the 4th. The transmission cuts off. Jax exhales slowly through his nose. Pep talks are getting better. Hunter says nothing. He scans his sector again, methodical, quadrant by quadrant, left to right, near to far, looking for the things that don't belong. A shadow where there shouldn't be one, a glint of glass, a shape too geometric for rubble. Nothing. He hates nothing. Nothing is suspicious. The M40 feels alive in his hands. 4 kilograms of wood and steel and precision engineering. He knows this rifle better than he knows his own heartbeat. Knows that the barrel heats up after the 3rd shot. Knows that the trigger breaks at exactly 1.5 kilograms of pressure. Knows that at 700 meters, with a 10-kilometer-per-hour crosswind from the east, he needs to hold 1 mil-dot to the left. He knows all of this. But knowing isn't enough against Ghost. Movement, Jax hisses suddenly. Hunter's pulse doesn't change. 55 beats per minute. Where? Grid reference November 7-3, 2nd floor, window on the left. Something, I don't know, something moved. Hunter swings the M40 smoothly to the coordinates. The scope fills with the image of a bombed-out apartment building. Most of the facade has collapsed, revealing rooms like open dollhouses. In one window, he sees a flutter of fabric, maybe a curtain, maybe cloth hung up to dry. Maybe. He watches. Seconds stretch into minutes. His breathing syncs with his heartbeat. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The crosshairs remain perfectly still, bisecting the window frame. Nothing. Could be wind, he says finally. Yeah, could be. But it wasn't wind. Hunter knows it. Jax knows it. The air in Fallujah is dead, has been all morning. He's about to sweep back to his primary sector when he sees it. Just for a fraction of a second. A flash. Small. Bright. Like sunlight reflecting off glass or polished metal. It appears in a window across the street. Not the one Jax called out, but 40 meters to the right. 3rd floor. Corner room. Then it's gone. Hunter's heart rate jumps. 60 beats per minute. 65. You see that? He breathes. See what? Solar flash. 3 o'clock. 3rd floor. Corner window. Jax shifts his scope. I don't... Wait. Yeah, I saw it. Just now. Like someone moved a mirror. They both go silent. A mirror. Mirrors are tools. Snipers use them to look around corners without exposing themselves, to check sectors, to signal, or to send messages. Hunter feels it then, a sensation like ice water trickling down his spine despite the crushing heat. It's the same feeling he got in Ramadi when an IED was buried 3 meters from his Humvee. The same feeling he got in Najaf when an insurgent with an RPG had him dead to rights, but the rocket misfired. Instinct. Intuition. Whatever you want to call it. The feeling that says, you're being watched. His radio squawks. Kowalski's voice again, but this time there's an edge to it. All call signs. All call signs. Be advised, we have eyes on from Predator drone. Thermal signature detected grid, November 7-5. Single individual. Stationary. Possible hostile sniper. Jax looks at Hunter. That's 2 buildings over from the mirror flash. I know. Overwatch, you're closest. Can you get positive ID? Hunter's jaw tightens. Control, that's negative. No line of sight from current position. Would need to relocate. Then relocate. Alpha 2 is buttoned up for now. We need to know if this is our guy. Moving means noise. Noise means exposure. Exposure means death. But orders are orders. Copy, Control. We're Oscar Mike. Hunter slowly, deliberately, pulls back from the rifle. Every movement is measured. Glacial. He's hyper-aware of every sound. The rustle of his uniform, the scrape of his boot against concrete, the metallic click as he engages the safety on the M40. Jax is already packing the spotting scope into its case. They move like shadows, hunched low, keeping to the walls. The floor is a minefield of debris, broken glass, chunks of plaster, spent shell casings from a firefight weeks or months ago. Hunter steps over a child's shoe, small, blue, covered in dust. He doesn't think about it. They reach the stairwell. It reeks of urine and decay. Sunlight streams through holes in the wall, creating columns of golden light filled with swirling dust particles. Hunter pauses at the landing, listening. Nothing. They descend, each step careful, testing weight before committing. Ground floor. The pharmacy's front entrance is a gaping wound of shattered glass and twisted metal. The street beyond shimmers in the heat. Hunter can see a dead dog lying in the middle of the road, bloated and covered in flies. "Where to?" Jax whispers. Hunter points to a 3-story building across the alley. Closer to the target grid, better angle. There, shoe factory, top floor. They wait, watching, listening for the crack of a rifle, the whistle of an incoming round. Nothing. Green light, Hunter says. Move. They sprint. 30 meters across open ground feels like 30 miles. Hunter's boots slap against broken asphalt. His vest bounces with each stride. The M40 is heavy across his back. He doesn't breathe until they're inside the factory, pressed against a wall, hearts hammering. Jax grins, adrenaline bright in his eyes. Oscar Mike completed. We're... He stops. Hunter sees it too. There, on the floor near the base of the stairs, carefully arranged on a piece of clean white cloth, a single brass shell casing, 7.62 millimeter, and next to it, a small circular mirror, no bigger than a makeup compact. The message is clear. I knew you would come here. Hunter's pulse hits 70 beats per minute. For the first time in 2 years, he feels something close to fear. Hunter doesn't move. Not yet. His eyes stay locked on the shell casing and mirror, but his mind is already 3 steps ahead, running calculations, analyzing angles, mapping threat sectors. The factory floor stretches before them, a graveyard of industrial equipment. Rusted sewing machines lie scattered like corpses. Wooden pallets are stacked against walls that haven't seen paint in decades. The air tastes like old leather and something chemical, acrid, that burns the back of the throat. He's fucking with us, Jax whispers, his Carolina drawl tight with tension. No, Hunter says quietly. He's telling us he owns this sector. Every building, every approach. He's been here long enough to map our movements before we even made them. So what do we do? Good question. The tactical manual says break contact, regroup, call for backup. But Ghost has already demonstrated he can track them. Running just makes you a moving target. And backup? 3 teams already tried that. Hunter keys his radio, keeping his voice low and controlled. Control, Overwatch. We have a situation. Go ahead, Overwatch. We found evidence of enemy recon at our secondary position. Shell casing, 762, deliberately placed. Target knows our movement patterns, requesting instructions. A pause, longer than it should be. Hunter can imagine Kowalski and the TOC looking at the tactical display, doing the same math Hunter just did, all of it coming up negative. Overwatch, stand by. The radio goes silent. Hunter counts his heartbeats. 72. Still elevated. He forces himself to breathe deeper, slower, pulling oxygen into his lungs, feeling his pulse begin to drop back toward operational baseline. Jax shifts his weight, and the movement sends a cascade of plaster dust drifting down from somewhere above them. Both men freeze. The dust particles hang in a shaft of sunlight, slowly spiraling downward like snow. Hunter's eyes track upward. The factory has 3 floors. Wooden stairs climb the eastern wall, each step sagging with age and neglect. The top floor would offer the best sight lines to the target building. It would also make them visible to anyone watching from a dozen different windows across the sector. The radio crackles. Overwatch, control. Hire wants eyes on that thermal signature. You're authorized to establish a new hide and confirm ID. Rules of engagement remain. Positive ID required before engaging. How copy? Hunter closes his eyes for a moment. Higher. Always higher. Colonels and captains sitting in air-conditioned offices, moving pieces on a board, playing chess with other people's lives. Solid copy, Control. Moving to establish Overwatch position. Roger. Alpha 2 will hold at checkpoint Bravo until you give the all clear. Good hunting, Overwatch. Good hunting. As if Ghost is just another deer in the woods. Hunter looks at Jax. The younger man's face has lost some of its color, but his hands are steady on his rifle. Good. Fear is healthy. Fear keeps you alert. It's panic that kills. We go up, Hunter says, nodding toward the stairs. Top floor. We set up a hide in the southwest corner. That'll give us angles on the target building and a fallback route through the north wall if things go sideways. And the shell casing? Ghost wanted us to know he was here. Past tense. If he was still here, we'd already be dead. He's moved to a new position, probably watching this building from somewhere else. So we move fast, we move quiet, and we don't give him time to get comfortable. Jax nods slowly. You really believe that? That he's not still here? Hunter adjusts the M40 on his shoulder. No, but it's the best lie I've got. They move. The stairs protest with every step. Wood groans. Nails squeal. Hunter places his feet on the edges where the boards meet the wall, distributing his weight, trying to minimize noise. It doesn't work. Everything in this city is old and broken and loud. Second floor, more machines, more shadows. A bird has made a nest in the corner. Hunter can see twigs and strips of fabric woven together. The bird is long gone. Maybe flew away when the bombs started falling. Maybe died when the insurgents set up fighting positions here. They keep climbing. Third floor. The ceiling is partially collapsed, creating a jagged opening that lets in harsh sunlight and shows patches of sky the color of bleached bone. The floor is a carpet of broken glass, hundreds of shattered fluorescent tubes that crunch underfoot no matter how carefully they step. Every sound feels like a gunshot. Hunter moves to the southwest corner and drops to one knee. The window here is empty, just a rectangular hole in the wall. No glass, no frame. Just open air and a 60-meter drop to the street below. He pulls out a small tactical mirror on a telescoping handle and carefully extends it beyond the window frame, angling it to check the sight lines without exposing himself. There, 3 buildings over, the target structure. It's a residential block, or was once. 5 stories. Most of the balconies have collapsed, but on the 3rd floor, he can see an intact room, the windows dark and recessed. Perfect sniper hide. Good cover. Good concealment. Multiple exit routes. If he was setting up a position in this sector, that's exactly where he'd go. Jax, set up the scope. I need range, wind, and thermal. They work in practiced silence. Jax unpacks the spotting scope and mounts it on its tripod, keeping the barrel back from the window edge. Hunter unwraps the M40 from its drag bag, checks the chamber, and settles into a prone position behind a stack of wooden crates that offer partial cover. The rifle feels good, solid, real. In a world of chaos and uncertainty, the M40 is honest. Point it at something, do your job right, and that something dies. Simple physics. Simple math. He settles the crosshairs on the dark window across the street. Range, he murmurs. Jax peers through the spotting scope, adjusting focus. 712 meters. Wind, 3 to 5 clicks from the east. Shifting. Wait. He pauses. I've got something. Hunter's finger moves to the trigger guard. Not on the trigger. Not yet. What? Movement. Thermal bloom. 3rd floor, 2nd window from the right. Something warm. Could be a person. Could be... Fuck, I don't know. The sun's hitting that side of the building. It's hard to tell. Hunter shifts his aim slightly, tracking to the 2nd window. His scope shows him shadows and shapes, but nothing definite. Just darkness and the suggestion of interior space. Then he sees it. So subtle, he almost misses it. A tiny puff of dust, drifting out from a ventilation pipe that juts from the wall below the window. The dust moves against the wind, pushed out from inside by something, by breath, by exhalation. Someone is in that room. Hunter's heart rate drops. 60 beats per minute. Operational focus. The world narrows to a tunnel. At the end of the tunnel is a window. In the window is a target. Control, overwatch, he whispers into his radio. We have possible visual on thermal signature. Requesting confirmation from predator feed. Stand by. The seconds crawl. Hunter watches the dust, watches the window. His finger rests gently on the trigger now. 1.5 kilograms of pressure. That's all it takes. Less force than it takes to shake someone's hand. Overwatch, control. Predator confirms thermal signature in that structure. Single individual. Stationary for the last 90 minutes. You are cleared to engage if you achieve positive ID. Copy. Working on it. Jax adjusts something on the spotting scope. I've got better resolution now. There's definitely someone in there. I can see... Wait. He stops. Hunter hears it in his voice. The shift from concentration to confusion. What? The thermal signature. It's weird. It's not moving. At all. Like, not even breathing movement. Just a static heat source. Wrong. All wrong. Hunter has tracked enough targets to know that humans can't stay perfectly still. Even professional snipers shift weight, adjust position, breathe. Motion is inevitable. Unless it's not a person. It's a decoy, Hunter says, the words bitter in his mouth. He's using a heat source. Chemical pack, maybe. Or a lamp. Something to create a thermal signature. Fuck. Before Hunter can respond, the radio erupts with noise. All call signs, all call signs. Troops in contact. Alpha 2 is taking fire from... The transmission cuts off into a screaming wall of static and the staccato bark of automatic weapons fire crackling through the speaker. Then another voice, younger, panicked. We're pinned! We're fucking pinned! Sniper fire from the north! Martinez is down! Martinez is down! Hunter's blood turns to ice water. The thermal signature was never the target. It was the bait. Ghost drew them here, got them focused on an empty room, while he moved into position to ambush the ground convoy. Jax, pack it up. Now. But even as he says it, he knows they're too late. Because at that exact moment, he hears it. A sound that makes his stomach drop through the floor. The sharp, unmistakable crack of a high-powered rifle. Close. Very close. Too close. The round hits the crate 3 centimeters from Hunter's head. Wood explodes into splinters. He feels the shock wave, feels fragments sting his cheek, feels the heat of the bullet's passage. His training takes over. He rolls left, abandoning the M40, pulling his sidearm, a Beretta M9, as he moves. Jax is already scrambling backward, dragging the spotting scope with him. Another shot. This one punches through the window frame where Jax was standing half a second ago. Stone chips spray like shrapnel. They're not shooting at a target anymore. They're the targets. Hunter's mind races. The shots came from the north. Elevated position, maybe the residential building they were watching. Maybe somewhere else. Ghost has them ranged, has them zeroed, has them exactly where he wants them. The factory floor offers no real cover, just wooden crates and old machinery. Nothing that will stop a 7.62 round traveling at 800 meters per second. Move! Hunter shouts, and they run. They run toward the stairs, feet pounding on glass, lungs burning, the factory filling with the sound of their panic. Another shot rings out. This one hits the wall behind them, and Hunter feels the impact through the floor, feels the building itself shudder. They hit the stairs. Hunter takes them 3 at a time, one hand on the rail, the other still gripping the Beretta. Behind him, Jax is breathing hard, gasping something that might be a prayer. Second floor. Keep moving. First floor. Almost there. Hunter bursts through the front entrance into the street, and the heat hits him like a physical blow. The dead dog is still there, still covered in flies. The world is bleached white with sunlight. His radio is screaming. Overwatch, Alpha 2! Where the fuck is our Overwatch? We need fire support, now! But Hunter can't help them, can't help anyone, because the moment he stepped into the street, he realized his mistake. The entrance to the factory faces south. The sniper was shooting from the north, which means Hunter just ran exactly where Ghost wanted him to run. He sees the glint a fraction of a second before the shot. A tiny flash of sunlight on glass. 4th floor window, 50 meters away. Time slows. Hunter throws himself sideways, pulling Jax with him, both of them hitting the ground hard as the world explodes into noise and light and pain. The bullet doesn't hit Hunter. It hits Jax. The impact spins the younger man around like a child's toy. Blood mists the air, bright red in the harsh sunlight. Jax goes down, his hand clutching his face, and when Hunter crawls to him, he sees the damage. The round hit the corner of the building and fragmented. A chunk of stone, sharp as a knife, has torn through Jax's left eye. He's screaming. Blood pours between his fingers. His remaining eye is wide and terrified, and looking at Hunter like Hunter has the answers. Like Hunter can fix this. Hunter grabs him, dragging him back toward the factory entrance, back into cover. Jax's blood is hot and slick on his hands. The smell of it, copper and iron and meat, fills his nose. "Stay with me," Hunter says, but he's not sure if he's talking to Jax or himself. "Stay with me, brother. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine." It's a lie. They both know it, because somewhere out there, Ghost is watching, and the game has only just begun. Hunter's world shrinks to a single imperative: survive the next 10 seconds. He drags Jax's body, still alive, still screaming, across the threshold of the factory. The concrete floor scrapes against his elbows. His boots scramble for purchase. Every muscle in his body screams with the effort of hauling 180 pounds of dead weight while staying low enough to avoid the kill zone. Another shot cracks overhead. The round hits the door frame, and splinters of metal and concrete rain down on them like hail. Hunter feels something hot slice across his shoulder blade. Shrapnel or a ricochet, he doesn't know, doesn't care. He gets Jax behind a support column. Relative safety. Maybe. "Jax, look at me. Look at me." The younger man's good eye finds Hunter's face. It's swimming with tears and shock. His hands are still clamped over the ruined socket where his left eye used to be. Blood seeps through his fingers in dark rivulets, running down his wrist, soaking into his sleeve. Am I gonna die?" Jax's voice is small, childlike. "No," Hunter lies, pulling out his individual first aid kit. "You're not going to die, but I need you to hold pressure. Keep your hand exactly where it is. Can you do that?" Jax nods, or tries to. The movement makes him whimper. Hunter tears open a package of quick clot gauze, the hemostatic agent that looks like regular bandage but stops bleeding through chemical reaction. He pulls Jax's hand away just long enough to pack the wound. The damage is ugly. The eye is gone, the socket a pulped mess of tissue and bone fragments. But the skull is intact. No penetration. That's something. He wraps pressure bandage around Jax's head, working fast, hands steady despite the adrenaline dump that's making his heart hammer at 100 beats per minute. The bandage goes around once, twice, 3 times. He ties it off, maybe too tight, but bleeding out is a bigger concern than circulation right now. "Hold it," he says. "Don't let go." Jax grabs the bandage with both hands. His breathing is ragged, but he's following orders. That's good. That means he's still in the fight, mentally, if not physically. Hunter keys his radio. "Control, Overwatch. We are combat ineffective. Spotter is wounded. Category Alpha. We need immediate medevac to..." The radio erupts in static. Not the normal crackle of interference. This is different. Aggressive. Pulsing, like someone is actively jamming the frequency. "Control, Overwatch. How copy?" Nothing. Just that angry buzz. "Control, do you read?" Static. Hunter switches frequencies. Tries the emergency channel. Same thing. Dead air filled with electronic noise that sounds almost alive, almost malicious. Ghost has a jammer. Or they're in a dead zone. Either way, they're cut off. "Are they coming?" Jax asks. His voice is muffled by the bandage and shock. "Is medevac coming?" Hunter doesn't answer. Can't answer. Because they both know the truth. Until he can reestablish communication, no one is coming. They're alone in a sector that Ghost has turned into his personal killing ground. Think. Think. The factory is a death trap. They can't stay here. Ghost knows exactly where they are, probably has multiple firing positions established, probably has every exit covered. Standard counter-sniper doctrine says you never use the same hide twice. Ghost has been moving, shifting, staying ahead of them. But moving means crossing open ground, and Jax can't run, can barely walk. "Can you move?" Hunter asks. Jax tries to stand, gets halfway up before his legs give out. He crumples back down, breathing hard. I can't. Everything's spinning. I can't." "It's okay. It's okay." Hunter grabs Jax's rifle, an M4 carbine, and does a quick press check. Round in the chamber. Good. He hands it back to Jax. "You stay here, behind this column. You see anything move in that doorway, anything at all, you light it up. Understand?" "Where are you going?" "To get us out of here." It's not really an answer, but it's all Hunter has. He moves deeper into the factory, staying low, using the support columns and machinery as cover. His Beretta is in his right hand. His left hand trails along the wall, feeling for texture, for structure, mapping the space. The factory floor is maybe 40 meters across. Industrial sewing machines create a maze of metal and shadows. Overhead, the ceiling is a patchwork of corrugated metal and exposed beams. Some of the panels have rusted through, creating holes that let in shafts of dusty sunlight. Hunter's mind is running tactical calculations. They need 3 things: cover from Ghost's fire, communication with command, and a way out. The first is temporary. This building won't stop a determined assault. The second requires line of sight to a relay or getting out of the jammer's range. The third, he stops. There, against the western wall, a service door, metal, half-rusted, probably leads to a back alley or courtyard, a way out that doesn't involve crossing the street where Ghost is waiting. Hunter moves to it, tests the handle. Locked. He puts his shoulder into it. The door rattles but doesn't give. Locked from the outside, maybe, or just rusted shut. He's about to try forcing it when he hears something that makes his blood freeze. Footsteps. Not from inside the factory, from outside, from the street. Multiple sets, moving slowly, deliberately. The scrape of boots on concrete, the metallic click of weapons being handled. Hunter slides back toward Jax's position, moving like smoke, every step placed with surgical precision. He reaches the column and crouches beside the younger man. "Someone's outside," he whispers. Jax's good eye goes wide. "Ghost?" "Maybe. Or insurgents. Doesn't matter. We can't let them pin us here." He peers around the column, looking toward the entrance. Through the doorway, he can see a slice of street. The dead dog. A piece of corrugated metal, flapping in a breeze that doesn't exist. Then a shadow falls across the threshold. A man steps into view. Not Ghost. Hunter can tell immediately. This one is young, maybe 19, wearing a mix of civilian clothes and military surplus. An AK-47 hangs from a strap across his chest. He's not moving like a trained operator. He's moving like someone who's nervous. Someone who's been told there are Americans in this building and wants to find them before they find him. The man calls out something in Arabic. Hunter doesn't speak the language, but he recognizes the cadence. A question, maybe, or a challenge. Another voice answers from outside. Then another. At least 3 insurgents. Maybe more. Hunter's mind races. Ghost drove them here, wounded them, jammed their communications, and now he sent ground forces to finish the job. It's textbook. Isolate the target, degrade their capability, then overwhelm with numbers. The insurgent in the doorway takes another step inside. His eyes are adjusting to the dimmer interior light. In another few seconds, he'll see the blood trail, see Jax, see Hunter. Hunter raises the Beretta. The front sight finds the man's center mass. His finger rests on the trigger, but he doesn't fire, because firing means giving away their exact position, means drawing all 3 or more insurgents into a close-quarters fight, means burning through ammunition they might need later, means making noise that will draw even more attention in a city full of hostile actors. The math is simple and brutal. 1 American with a pistol and 1 wounded spotter versus an unknown number of insurgents with automatic weapons in an enclosed space equals death. So Hunter doesn't shoot. He watches. The insurgent takes another step, then another. He's fully inside now, AK-47 raised to his shoulder, sweeping left to right. His finger is on the trigger. Safety off, ready to fire. Hunter's heart hammers. 90 beats per minute. 100. The Beretta feels impossibly heavy in his hand. The insurgent's eyes track across the factory floor, past the sewing machines, past the support columns, past Hunter's position. He doesn't see them. The shadows are too deep, the geometry wrong. He's looking for movement, and Hunter has become a statue. The insurgent calls out again. This time it sounds frustrated, annoyed. He takes a few more steps, then stops, looks back toward the street, says something that might be, "They're not here," or "I don't see anything." A longer conversation from outside. Hunter can hear the voices, but can't see the speakers. They're debating, arguing maybe, about whether to search the building or move on. Then he hears a different sound. A vehicle. Big. Diesel engine. The distinctive rumble of a Humvee. The insurgent in the doorway tenses, raises his rifle. The voices outside become urgent, panicked. Then the street explodes into chaos. Machine gun fire rips through the air. The heavy bark of an M2 Browning .50 caliber. Hunter knows that sound intimately. It's the sound of God tearing reality apart. Each round is the size of a man's finger and can punch through concrete blocks like they're made of paper. The insurgent in the doorway jerks like a puppet with cut strings. Hunter sees the exit wounds before he processes what's happening. Massive flowers of red erupting from the man's back as the .50 cal rounds tear through him. The body flies backward, cartwheeling through the air, and lands in a heap on the factory floor. More gunfire outside, the sharp crack of M4s, the heavier thump of an M203 grenade launcher, someone screaming. Metal grinding against stone. Hunter stays frozen. This is the worst possible scenario. A firefight erupting around them while they're trapped in the middle, unable to communicate, unable to identify themselves to the friendly forces outside. "What's happening?" Jax hisses. "Alpha 2, Hunter says. "They're engaging insurgents, probably the same ones who were moving on our position." "That's good, right? They can get us out?" Hunter doesn't answer, because the math isn't that simple. The Humvee is out there, Alpha 2 is out there, but so is Ghost, And Ghost has been watching this entire sector, waiting for exactly this moment, waiting for targets to expose themselves. The machine gun fire stops. In the sudden silence, Hunter hears someone shouting orders. American voice. NCO, probably. Check those buildings. I want a full sweep. Move, move, move. Footsteps running. Equipment rattling. Marines doing their job, clearing sectors, looking for insurgents, looking for threats. And Hunter realizes with cold certainty what's about to happen. The Marines don't know he's in here. The radio is jammed. If they come through that door and see two armed men in the shadows, they're going to fire first and identify bodies later. Standard procedure in Fallujah. Shoot anything that might be hostile. He needs to signal them, needs to let them know there are friendlies in here. But if he moves, if he makes noise, if he draws attention to this position, Ghost is still out there, watching, waiting. Hunter looks at Jax. The younger man's face is pale, bloodless. The bandage around his head is soaked through, dark and wet. He's going into shock. Needs medical attention in the next 30 minutes, or he's going to die. The Humvee is right there, maybe 50 meters away. Safety, evacuation, survival. All Hunter has to do is step into the street and wave them down. All he has to do is expose himself to a sniper who has killed 12 Americans without missing once. Control, overwatch, do you read? Static. Any call sign, this is overwatch. We are in the shoe factory, southeast corner of sector November 7. Friendly forces, do not engage. We are friendlies. How copy? Nothing. Just that aggressive, pulsing electronic noise. Hunter closes his eyes, opens them, makes the only decision he can make. Jax, when I say go, you stay behind this column. Don't move. Don't make a sound, no matter what you hear. Understand? What are you going to do? Something stupid. Hunter checks the Beretta. 15 rounds in the magazine. 1 in the chamber. 16 total. Against a sniper who has never missed. Against unknown numbers of insurgents. Against a situation that has no good outcomes. He takes a breath, holds it, lets it out slowly. Then he moves toward the entrance. The street is chaos incarnate. 2 Humvees are stopped at angles, providing cover. Marines are spread out in tactical positions behind vehicles and walls. Smoke drifts from a burning pile of trash. The insurgent bodies lie where they fell. 3 of them, torn apart by heavy weapons fire. Hunter steps into the doorway, raises his hands. The Beretta is clearly visible in his right hand, finger outside the trigger guard, pointed at the sky. "Friendly!" he shouts. "Friendly American! Don't shoot!" Instantly, a dozen rifles swing toward him. He sees the Marines, sees the tension in their shoulders, sees the fingers on triggers. "I'm Overwatch! Sniper team! Don't shoot!" A sergeant, Hispanic guy, maybe 30, with hard eyes, steps forward, rifle still aimed at Hunter's chest. "Drop the weapon! Drop it now!" "I can't. I've got a wounded man inside. We need medevac." "Drop the fucking weapon or I will drop you!" Hunter's mind is screaming at him. Every instinct says don't disarm. Don't give up your weapon. Maintain positive control. But he's got no choice. No time. He slowly lowers the Beretta, places it on the ground, steps back, raises his hands higher. There's a wounded Marine inside. Spotter. Eye wound. He's in shock. We need immediate medical. That's when Hunter sees it. A flash. Small. Quick. Fourth-floor window of the building across the street. The same building Ghost fired from before. Time slows to a crawl. Hunter's mouth opens to scream a warning. Sniper! But the word isn't even fully formed before the shot cracks across the sector. The sergeant's head snaps backward. A pink mist hangs in the air where his face used to be. His body doesn't crumple. It just stops, standing upright for a moment, as if confused about the fact that it's dead. Then it falls like a puppet with cut strings. The Marines explode into motion. Everyone's scrambling for cover, shouting, screaming, "Sniper! Sniper! 11 o'clock high!" The 50 cal on the Humvee swings toward the building and opens fire. The sound is apocalyptic. Rounds hammer into concrete and rebar. Entire sections of wall disintegrate into dust. But Hunter knows it's too late. Ghost has already moved. He fired one shot, one perfect shot, and now he's gone, melting back into the maze of ruined buildings like he was never there. Hunter doesn't wait. He grabs his Beretta and runs back into the factory, back to Jax. "We're leaving," he says. "Now." "I can't." "You can. You have to." He hauls Jax to his feet. The younger man sways, nearly falls. Hunter catches him, wraps Jax's arm over his shoulder, takes most of his weight. They stagger toward the service door. Hunter kicks it. Once. Twice. On the third kick, the rusted lock gives way and the door swings open. An alley. Narrow, filled with trash and rubble, but clear. They stumble through. Behind them, the firefight continues. Marines are pouring suppressing fire into every window, every shadow. The air is thick with cordite and fear. Hunter and Jax move deeper into the alley, away from the killing ground, away from Ghost. But Hunter knows the truth. They're not escaping. They're just moving to the next phase of whatever game Ghost is playing. And somewhere out there, in a window they can't see, Ghost is watching them go, waiting for the perfect moment to take his next shot. The alley smells like death and diesel fuel. Hunter drags Jax through the narrow corridor of rubble and refuse, their boots crunching over broken glass and spent shell casings. Every shadow looks like a threat. Every sound could be Ghost chambering another round. 20 meters. 30. The alley opens into a small courtyard. Maybe it was a marketplace once, back when this city had commerce and life. Now it's just another graveyard of concrete and twisted metal. A burned-out sedan sits in the center, doors missing, windows blown out. Hunter makes for it, half carrying Jax, feeling the younger man's weight increase with every step as consciousness slips further away. They collapse behind the vehicle. Hunter lowers Jax carefully, checks the bandage. Still bleeding, but slower now. That's either good or very bad. Either the quick clot is working, or Jax is running out of blood to lose. "Stay with me," Hunter says. It's becoming a mantra. A prayer to a god he stopped believing in somewhere between Ramadi and here. Jax's good eye flutters open. "How long?" "How long what?" "How long have we been out here?" Hunter checks his watch. The crystal is cracked, but still functional. 4 hours since initial contact. It feels like 4 lifetimes. He tries the radio again. Different frequencies, different channels. Everything from standard tactical to emergency broadcast. Static. always static. Either Ghost Jammer has incredible range, or they're in a dead zone created by the urban terrain. Doesn't matter which. The result is the same. They're cut off from command, cut off from support, cut off from the world. Hunter does a tactical assessment of their situation. It's not good. Assets: 1 M40 rifle, left behind in the factory. 1 M4 carbine, Jax's, 30 rounds remaining. 1 Beretta M9, Hunter's, 16 rounds. 2 fragmentation grenades. 1 smoke canister. Half a canteen of water that tastes like iodine and rust. 1 wounded Marine who needs immediate evacuation. Threats: 1 highly trained sniper with unknown but clearly superior positioning. Unknown number of insurgents in the sector. Deteriorating tactical situation. No communication, no support, no extraction. The math is simple and brutal. They're going to die here unless something changes. Hunter looks at the sky. The sun is directly overhead now, turning the courtyard into a furnace. He estimates the temperature at 47, maybe 48 degrees Celsius. Hot enough that the air shimmers. Hot enough that dehydration becomes a tactical factor within hours. "We need to find a hide," he says, more to himself than to Jax. "Somewhere we can ford up, wait for nightfall." Then what? Good question. Then what? Move under cover of darkness. Try to reach friendly lines. Hope Ghost doesn't have night vision. Hope they don't bleed out or die of thirst first. Hope, hope, hope. Hope is not a tactical plan, but it's all they have. Hunter scans the courtyard. 3 buildings form a rough U-shape around the space. 2 are completely collapsed, just piles of rubble and rebar. The third is partially standing. 3 stories, most of the facade intact. Windows like empty eye sockets. It'll have to do. "Can you walk?" Jax tries. Gets 1 foot under him before his leg gives out. I don't think... Okay. Just hold on to me." Hunter hauls him up again. They move across the courtyard, exposed, vulnerable. Every nerve in Hunter's body is screaming at him that they're in Ghost's crosshairs right now. That the next sound he hears will be the crack of a rifle and then nothing. But the shot doesn't come. They reach the building. The entrance is a gaping hole where a door used to be. Inside, it's darker, cooler. The relief from the sun is immediate and profound. The ground floor is a gutted shell, walls covered in Arabic graffiti and bullet holes. Brass shell casings scattered like seeds. The acrid smell of old gunpowder. And something worse. Something organic that's been rotting in the heat. Hunter spots stairs in the back corner. Stone, still intact. "Up," he says. They climb. Each step is agony. Jax whimpers with every movement, and Hunter can feel his own shoulder wound, the shrapnel cut from earlier, pulling open with exertion. Blood runs warm down his back, soaking into his shirt. Second floor. The layout is similar. Open space, demolished walls, debris everywhere. But there's a small room in the corner that still has 3 walls and most of a ceiling. Defensible. 1 entrance to cover. 1 window with a sightline back to the courtyard. Good enough. Hunter eases Jax down against the wall. The younger man's breathing is shallow now, rapid. His skin has gone from pale to gray. Shock is settling in deep. "I'm cold," Jax whispers. It's 47 degrees Celsius outside. He's not cold. His body is shutting down. Hunter pulls off his own shirt and drapes it over Jax. You're going to be fine. Just rest. Save your strength. Another lie. They're piling up. Hunter moves to the window and establishes a hasty observation post. He sets up Jax's M4 on the sill, angling it to cover the courtyard below. The Beretta goes in his belt. Easy access. Last resort. Then he settles in to wait. Time becomes elastic, meaningless. The sun crawls across the sky with agonizing slowness. Hunter watches the courtyard, the alley, the surrounding buildings, looking for movement, for threats, for ghost. Nothing. The silence is oppressive. No artillery in the distance now. No firefights. No helicopters. Just the endless, suffocating quiet of a dead city holding its breath. Hunter's mind starts to play tricks on him. He sees movement in a window across the courtyard. His finger tightens on the M4's trigger. But it's just a piece of cloth, swaying in a breeze he can't feel. He sees a figure in the shadows of the alley, raises the rifle, but it's just a pile of garbage bags, stacked in a way that looks almost human. Fatigue is setting in. He hasn't slept in, how long? 30 hours? 36? The numbers blur together. Behind him, Jax mumbles something. Hunter turns. The younger man's eye is open but unfocused, staring at something that isn't there. "Mom," Jax says. "Mom, I don't want to." Jax, "Hey, stay with me." But Jax isn't here anymore. He's somewhere else. Somewhere in his mind where the pain and fear can't reach him. Hunter turns back to the window, tries to focus, tries to maintain tactical awareness, but his own thoughts are starting to fragment. Lack of sleep, dehydration, stress hormones flooding his system for hours on end. He sees things that aren't there. A shadow on the wall that looks like a person. He spins toward it, Beretta drawn, before realizing it's just the angle of sunlight through a hole in the ceiling. A sound from downstairs. Footsteps, he thinks. He creeps to the doorway, weapon ready, heart hammering. But there's nothing. Just the building settling. Just the wind moving debris. He's losing it. Losing his edge. This is how Ghost wins. Not with bullets, with time. With psychological warfare. By forcing his targets to stay alert for so long that they start making mistakes. Start seeing threats that don't exist. Start forgetting to check the threats that do. Hunter slaps himself, hard. The pain brings clarity, focus. He checks his watch. 1,600 hours. 4 in the afternoon. The sun is still high, but starting its descent toward the western horizon. Maybe 4 more hours until dusk. 4 more hours of this hell. He takes a sip from the canteen. The water is hot and tastes like chemicals, but it's wet. He gives some to Jax, dribbling it between his lips. Most of it runs down his chin. He's too far gone to swallow properly. Hunter caps the canteen. Maybe 2 ounces left. Enough for 1 more round of hydration. After that, they're dry. He returns to the window, resumes his watch. Time passes. The shadows lengthen. And then he sees something that makes his blood run cold. Movement. Real movement this time, not imagination. Down in the courtyard. 3 figures emerging from the alley, moving slowly, tactically, rifles up, scanning for threats. Hunter's hand finds the M4. He pulls it to his shoulder. Sight picture through the window. His finger finds the trigger, but he doesn't fire. Because these aren't insurgents. They're Americans. Marines. He can tell by the silhouettes, by the way they move, by the equipment. One of them has a radio handset pressed to his ear, speaking into it. Relief floods through Hunter like a physical thing. They found us. Somehow, they found us. He's about to call out when something stops him. The Marine with the radio. He's saying something. Hunter can't hear the words, but he can see the body language. See the way the other two Marines are looking around. Not like they're searching for friendly forces, like they're hunting. And then Hunter remembers. The radio is still jammed. Command still thinks Overwatch is somewhere in the shoe factory. These Marines aren't looking for survivors. They're clearing buildings, looking for insurgents, following standard procedures in a hot zone. If Hunter reveals his position, they'll light him up. Friendly fire. It happens. Especially in urban combat where everything is chaos and confusion and split-second decisions. But if he doesn't reveal his position, they'll move on. Leave him here. Leave Jax here to die. Hunter's finger hovers over the trigger. His mind races through options, scenarios, outcomes. Then he sees it. A fourth figure, behind the Marines, moving out of the alley into the courtyard. No uniform. Civilian clothes. AK-47. Insurgent. The Marines don't see him. They're focused forward, clearing their sector, doing their job. They have no idea the threat is behind them. Hunter has maybe 2 seconds to make a decision. Option 1. Shoot the insurgent, save the Marines, but reveal his position to 3 armed men who might shoot first and identify later. Option 2. Stay silent. Watch the Marines die. Maintain his hide. Increase his and Jax's chances of survival. The insurgent raises his rifle, aims at the closest Marine's back. Range is maybe 20 meters. He can't miss. Hunter's crosshairs find the insurgent's center mass. He thinks about the patrol he watched from the factory, the Humvee, the IED on the road, the choice he made to stay silent, the explosion, the screams of men burning alive inside their vehicle. He thinks about the sergeant who took a bullet to the head because Hunter drew him into Ghost's kill zone. He thinks about all the choices that led him here, all the compromises, all the calculations of acceptable losses. The insurgent's finger tightens on the trigger. Hunter makes his choice. He fires. The M4 barks, once, twice, 3 times. The insurgent jerks backward, rounds stitching across his chest. He goes down hard, weapon clattering on concrete. The Marines spin toward the sound, weapons up, searching for the threat. "Friendly!" Hunter screams from the window. "Second floor! American sniper team! Don't shoot!" For a long, terrible moment, 3 rifles point up at his window. He can see the Marines, can see their faces, can see the fear and adrenaline and the split-second calculation happening behind their eyes. Then one of them, an officer, maybe a lieutenant, lowers his weapon slightly. "Show me your hands! Both hands! Now!" Hunter drops the M4, raises his hands, steps fully into the window where they can see him, see his uniform, see that he's American. "I'm Overwatch, sniper team. I have 1 wounded. We need immediate medevac." The lieutenant says something to his men. They lower their weapons but keep them ready. Professional, cautious, smart. "Stay where you are. We're coming up." Relief crashes over Hunter like a wave. They're getting out. Jax is getting medical attention. They survived. But even as he thinks it, even as he hears the Marine's boots on the stairs, even as salvation climbs toward him, a sound, distant, but unmistakable. The crack of a high-powered rifle. Hunter turns toward the courtyard just in time to see the lieutenant's head explode in a pink mist. The second Marine goes down a heartbeat later. Chest shot, center mass, dropped like a switch was flipped. The third Marine dives for cover behind the burned-out sedan. He's screaming into his radio, calling for support, for backup, for help that won't arrive in time. And Hunter understands. Ghost wasn't hunting him and Jax. He was hunting anyone who tried to help them. The Marines in the courtyard were bait. Just like the thermal signature in the window was bait. Just like everything in this sector is part of Ghost's design. And Hunter fell for it. He picked up a weapon. He revealed his position. He gave Ghost exactly what he wanted. The third Marine is still behind the sedan, still alive, still calling for help. Hunter watches from the window, frozen, as Ghost takes his time, as Ghost lines up the shot, as Ghost proves once again that he never misses. The shot comes. The Marine slumps forward, dead before his face hits the ground. 3 more bodies for the count. 3 more lives snuffed out because Hunter tried to be a hero. Because he tried to save people. The courtyard is silent again. Just corpses and shadows, and the dying sun painting everything the color of blood. Hunter backs away from the window. His hands are shaking. For the first time in his career, actually shaking. Behind him, Jax whispers, "What happened?" Hunter doesn't answer. Can't answer. Because the truth is too terrible to speak aloud. Ghost isn't just better than him. Ghost is inside his head, predicting his moves, manipulating his decisions, turning every tactical choice into a trap. And somewhere out there, in a window Hunter can't see, Ghost is watching, waiting, patient as death itself. Night comes to Fallujah like a mercy killing. Hunter watches the sun bleed out across the horizon, painting the ruins in shades of crimson and gold that would be beautiful if they weren't covering a city that smells like death. The temperature drops. Not much, maybe 5 degrees, but enough that the air stops feeling like it's trying to suffocate him. 46 hours since initial contact. Jax hasn't spoken in 3 hours. His breathing is shallow, rattling. Hunter checked his pulse 10 minutes ago. 50 beats per minute and getting weaker. The body shutting down non-essential systems to preserve the core. Textbook shock progression. Hunter sits with his back against the wall, M4 across his lap, watching the window. Watching the shadows grow longer and merge into darkness. The courtyard below is a mass grave now. 4 bodies cooling in the evening air. The Marines, the insurgent, all of them dead because of choices Hunter made. He should feel something. Guilt, remorse, horror. But there's only a vast, empty coldness spreading through his chest. The same coldness he's felt watching through scopes as targets dropped. The same coldness that lets him pull a trigger without hesitation. Maybe Ghost did him a favor. Maybe this is what he was always becoming. What this war turns everyone into eventually. Just meat and mathematics. Angles and trajectories. Problems to solve. The radio on the dead lieutenant's body crackles to life. Hunter can hear it from the window, a tinny voice breaking the silence. Delta 4, this is Falcon 6. Radio check, over. Pause. Delta 4, if you can hear this transmission, key your mic twice. Nothing.
Just corpses. Just silence. Any station, this is Falcon 6. Be advised, we have lost contact with Delta 4 in Sector November 7. All units maintain heightened alert. Hostile sniper is active and confirmed dangerous. Rules of engagement are weapons free on any hostile contacts.
How copy? Various call signs respond, all of them distant, none of them close enough to matter. Hunter looks at the radio on his own belt, still jammed, still useless. Ghost's electronic warfare is precise, close-range jamming that doesn't affect the broader tactical net. Smart. It keeps reinforcements from flooding the sector while still letting Ghost monitor friendly communications. Professional. Clinical. Perfect. Hunter's mind drifts. Sleep deprivation is hitting hard now, making his thoughts slide sideways, making reality feel thin and dreamlike. He catches himself staring at a crack in the wall for 5 minutes without blinking, snaps back to alertness, forces his eyes to scan, to check, to maintain situational awareness. But it's getting harder. He thinks about the body in the courtyard, the insurgent he shot. Center mass, 3-round burst, perfect grouping. Dead before he hit the ground. How many is that now? How many people has Hunter killed? He stopped counting after Ramadi. The numbers became meaningless. Just another form of scorekeeping in a game nobody wins. But Ghost is keeping score. 12 American snipers. 12 perfect shots. 12 families getting folded flags and hollow words about honor and sacrifice. 13 if you count Jax. He's not dead yet, but it's only a matter of time. 14 if you count Hunter. The stars come out. Thousands of them, brilliant and cold and indifferent. Hunter used to know the constellations. His father taught him on camping trips in Montana, back when the world made sense, back when death was something that happened to other people. Now the stars are just navigation aids, reference points for calculating azimuth and drift. Everything becomes a weapon, even the sky. Movement catches his eye. Down in the courtyard, just a flicker at the edge of vision. Hunter's hands find the M4, bringing it up smooth and fast. His eye finds the iron sights. Scanning. Searching. There, by the alley entrance, a shape detaching from shadows. Low. Careful. Not human-shaped. Too small. Moving wrong. A dog. Mangy, skeletal, ribs showing through matted fur. It slinks into the courtyard, nose to the ground, following some scent Hunter can't smell from up here. The dog finds the insurgent's body, sniffs it, then starts to feed. Hunter watches. He should feel something, disgust maybe, horror at the desecration. But there's only that cold emptiness. The dog is just trying to survive. Same as him. Same as everyone in this God-forsaken city. The dead don't care. They're past caring. Past everything. He lowers the rifle. Lets the dog eat. In a few hours, the corpse will bloat in the heat. Better the dog get something out of this nightmare. Behind him, Jax makes a sound. Not words. Just a low moan. Easy, Hunter whispers. I'm here. You're okay. Another lie. The last one, probably. He checks Jax's pulse again. 45 beats per minute. Thready. Weak. The bandage is soaked through, black with dried blood in the starlight. Hunter pulls out the canteen. Shakes it. Maybe an ounce left. He holds it to Jax's lips, tilts it carefully. Most of the water runs down his chin, but some gets through. That's it, Hunter says softly. Stay with me, just a little longer. Stay for what? For rescue that isn't coming? For a dawn they might not see? But the words keep coming anyway, because silence is worse.
because even hollow comfort is better than nothing. Hunter returns to the window. The dog is gone, melted back into the darkness. The bodies remain, patient, waiting for whoever comes next. Insurgents to loot them, Marines to recover them, time to claim them. He checks his watch. 2,200 hours, 10 at night. 4 more hours until dawn. 4 more hours until the sector becomes active again. Until Ghost has fresh targets. Until this nightmare, maybe, possibly, ends. Or doesn't. Hunter's eyes drift closed, just for a second, just to rest them. He snaps awake. His finger is on the M4's trigger. He doesn't remember putting it there. How long was he out? Seconds? Minutes? He checks the courtyard. Everything looks the same, but his heart is hammering, because falling asleep on watch is how you die, how your brothers die, how Ghost wins. He slaps himself again, harder this time. The sting brings clarity. Stay awake, stay alert, stay alive. The mantra helps, for a while, but the hours grind on, and the exhaustion is a physical weight pressing down on his shoulders, his eyes, his mind. The darkness beyond the window starts to move, to writhe, to take shapes that aren't really there. He sees a figure standing in the courtyard, tall, still, watching the window. Hunter blinks. The figure is gone. Hallucination. Has to be. But then he sees it again. Different position. Closer to the building now. He raises the M4. Looks through the sights. Nothing there. Just shadows and starlight and the geometry of ruins. "You're losing it," he whispers to himself. "Get your shit together." But the figures keep appearing, flickering in and out of existence at the edge of his vision. Sometimes one, sometimes 3, sometimes a whole crowd of them, standing silent in the courtyard, staring up at his window. The dead Marines, the insurgent, every person Hunter has killed, come back to watch him die. He knows it's not real, knows it's just his brain misfiring from stress and fatigue and trauma. But knowing doesn't make them go away. Time loses meaning. He's staring at the courtyard when he notices something wrong. The stars are disappearing. Not all of them, just some. A section of sky going dark, blocked by something. Smoke, thick and black and rising from somewhere beyond the building. Then he smells it. Gasoline. Burning rubber. The acrid stench of a vehicle fire. Hunter moves to a different window, one facing west, and there, maybe 200 meters away, he sees the flames. A Humvee burning in the street, Marines taking cover, muzzle flashes in the darkness. The staccato bark of automatic weapons. Another ambush. More Americans walking into Ghost's trap. Hunter watches, unable to help, unable to warn them, unable to do anything but witness. The firefight lasts maybe 5 minutes. Then silence. The flames keep burning, painting the ruins in dancing orange light. How many this time? How many more bodies for the count? Hunter turns away, back to his sector, back to his window, back to waiting. The night crawls forward. 0200 hours, 2 in the morning. Jax stops breathing. Hunter doesn't notice at first. There's no dramatic death rattle, no final gasp, just absence. One moment the shallow breathing is there, and the next it isn't. Hunter checks for a pulse. Nothing. The skin is already cooling. He sits back, looks at the body, at what used to be Danny Jackson from South Carolina. 23 years old. Wanted to be a teacher after his tour. Talked too much when he was nervous. Now just another casualty. Another name for the list. Hunter should close the eye, the good one. It's staring at nothing, catching starlight,
making Jax look surprised, like death came as a shock. But Hunter doesn't, because moving the body, touching it, acknowledging it, that makes it real, and he needs to not think about it, needs to stay focused, stay operational, grieve later, if there is a later. He returns to the window, resumes his watch. The night is almost over. The sky in the east is starting to lighten. Not dawn yet, just the promise of it. That gray pre-light that photographers call the blue hour. 47 hours since initial contact. Hunter's entire world has contracted to this. One room, one window, one rifle, and the ever-present knowledge that Ghost is out there, waiting, patient, perfect. And then he sees it. Movement. Real this time, not hallucination. In the building across the courtyard, 3rd floor, the same floor Hunter is on. A window that's been empty all night suddenly isn't. Just for a fraction of a second, Hunter sees it. The faintest hint of a shape. A silhouette against the slightly lighter darkness behind it. His breath catches. Ghost. It has to be. Nobody else would be in that position. Nobody else would move so carefully, so precisely that Hunter almost missed it. Hunter's hands find the M4. But even as he brings it up, he knows the shot is impossible. Too dark, too far, too many variables. He needs better light, better position, better odds. He needs to wait. So he watches, barely breathing, barely moving, every sense locked onto that window across the courtyard, waiting for Ghost to make a mistake, waiting for dawn, waiting for one of them to die. The eastern sky continues to lighten. Gray becomes silver, becomes gold. The sun is coming. And when it does, when that first ray of light hits the sector just right, Hunter sees it. A ventilation pipe jutting from the wall below Ghost's window, painted the same color as the concrete, almost invisible. But the morning sun catches it at an angle that creates a shadow. And in that shadow, barely visible, Hunter sees something move. Dust. Just a tiny puff of it, drifting out from the pipe's opening, pushed out by breath. Someone is in that room, right now, exhaling, creating displacement that moves air through the ventilation system. Ghost is there. Hunter's heart rate drops. 55 beats per minute. Operational focus. The coldness in his chest spreads, filling him, turning him into something that isn't quite human anymore. He thinks through the shot. 700 meters, maybe 720. Wind is calm, temperature rising. The sun in the east means heat shimmer will start soon, distorting long-range visibility. It's now or never. Hunter checks the M4. Not ideal. This is a carbine, effective out to maybe 300 meters. Ghost is twice that far away, but it's all he has. The M40 is still in the factory, a lifetime and a sector away. He needs to get closer. Hunter looks at Jax's body, at the M4 in his dead hands, at the 2 fragmentation grenades still clipped to his vest. An idea forms. Terrible, desperate, but maybe, possibly, enough. He strips the grenades from Jax's body, whispers, "Thanks, brother. I'll finish this." Then he moves, down the stairs, quiet as smoke, into the courtyard, past the corpses, Marine, Insurgent, they're all the same now. Just obstacles, just terrain. He reaches the building across the courtyard, the one where Ghost is hiding, waiting. The entrance is a dark mouth. Hunter slips inside, lets his eyes adjust. Up is death. Ghost is up there, in position, probably has the entire approach covered. But Ghost is also human. Humans have patterns, habits, expectations. Ghost expects Hunter to be across the courtyard, in the building he's been in all night. Ghost is watching that window, that position. Ghost isn't watching his own six. Hunter finds the stairs, stone, solid. He climbs, slow, silent, each step placed with surgical care. First floor, second floor, third floor. He's below Ghost now, maybe directly below, maybe slightly offset. The building's layout isn't identical to the one he left, but close enough. Hunter stops, listens. Nothing. Then, so faint he almost misses it, the subtle creak of weight shifting on floorboards above him. Ghost is there. Hunter pulls out a grenade, holds it in his left hand, M4 in his right. His plan is simple and stupid and probably suicidal. But it's all he has. He looks up at the ceiling, tries to visualize Ghost's position based on the sound, tries to calculate where a grenade would do the most damage. His thumb finds the pin, pulls it. Spoon still in place, safe for now. He takes a breath, releases the spoon, counts. 1, 2, 3. He throws. The grenade arcs up through a hole in the ceiling, battle damage from some previous firefight. Hunter hears it bounce, roll, then silence that stretches for an eternity. 4 seconds. 5.
The explosion is massive in the confined space. The building shakes. Dust and debris rain down. Hunter is already moving, charging up the remaining stairs, M4 raised, finger on the trigger. He bursts into the room. Smoke, chaos, the smell of cordite and blood. And there, by the window, Ghost's position. Empty. No body, no blood, no sign that anyone was ever there. Just an empty 7.62 shell casing, and a small ventilation fan, battery-powered, positioned to blow air through the pipe, creating the illusion of breath. Hunter's mind reels. It was a decoy, another trap. Ghost was never here, was somewhere else, watching, waiting for Hunter to make exactly this move. Behind him, a sound, the subtle click of a safety being released. Hunter spins, too slow. He sees her then, for the first time, sees Ghost. Small, pale, almost delicate-looking, standing in a doorway he didn't check, holding a Dragunov SVD that looks too big for her frame. Their eyes meet. Hers are blue, cold, empty as winter sky. She has him. Perfect shot. Point-blank range. No way to miss. This is how it ends. But she doesn't fire. Instead, she smiles, just slightly, and nods once. A gesture of respect, recognition, one professional to another. Then she steps backward through the doorway and is gone. Hunter stands frozen, M4 still raised, adrenaline screaming through his system, brain trying to process what just happened. Why didn't she shoot? He moves to the doorway, weapon up, but Ghost is already gone.
down a back stairwell he didn't know existed, moving fast, escaping. He could chase her, could try, but he knows how it would end. More traps, more games, more death. Instead, Hunter walks to the window, looks across the courtyard at the building where Jax's body lies, and he understands. Ghost had him in her sights all night, could have killed him a dozen times, but she didn't. Because this wasn't about killing. It was about something else, something worse. Breaking him, showing him that all his skill, all his training, all his pride meant nothing against someone better. Showing him what he really was, just another target waiting for the perfect moment. Hunter stands in the window as the sun rises fully over Fallujah, painting everything gold and red and beautiful. And he starts to laugh. Not because anything is funny, but because what else is there to do when you realize you've been dancing with death for 48 hours and death decided to let you live? The laughter sounds wrong in the empty room, hollow, broken, like everything else in this city. The quick reaction force arrives 20 minutes after sunrise. Hunter hears them before he sees them, the heavy diesel rumble of MRAPs moving through the sector, the sharp commands barked over external speakers, the coordinated sounds of a tactical element clearing buildings with overwhelming force. He's still standing in Ghost's position, still holding the M4, still trying to make sense of why he's alive. The grenade launcher thumps. A 40mm round punches through a window 3 buildings over. Smoke billows out. Marines pour in. The QRF isn't taking chances. They're treating every structure as hostile until proven otherwise. Hunter should call out, identify himself, but his voice doesn't work. Hasn't worked since Ghost walked away. Since she looked at him with those winter sky eyes and chose mercy, or cruelty. He's not sure which anymore. Boots on stairs, multiple sets, moving fast, professional. Clear left, clear right, doorway, moving up. They're coming to him. Standard building clearance, room by room, floor by floor, looking for threats, looking for bodies. Hunter slowly, carefully places the M4 on the floor, raises his hands, waits. The door explodes inward. 4 Marines flood through, rifles up, fingers on triggers. Hunter sees it all in perfect clarity, the way they move as one organism, the way their sectors of fire overlap, the way death is just one twitch away. Hands! Show me your fucking hands! Friendly, Hunter says. His voice sounds strange, distant, like it belongs to someone else. Overwatch, sniper team. The lead Marine, a staff sergeant with hard eyes and 3 deployment patches, doesn't lower his weapon. ID, slow. Hunter reaches for his tags with 2 fingers, pulls them out, lets them dangle. The staff sergeant moves closer, checks the tags, checks Hunter's face. Something shifts in his expression. Not sympathy, just recognition. The look soldiers give each other when they know. Jesus Christ, the staff sergeant says quietly. You're the one they've been looking for. How long have you been out here? 48 hours, give or take. Where's your spotter? Dead, across the courtyard, 2nd floor. The staff sergeant keys his radio. Actual, Sergeant Hayes, we got him. Overwatch is alive. Spotter is KIA. Need medevac for 1 wounded. Body bag for 1 fallen. Pause. Roger that. Standing by. He looks back at Hunter. Really looks this time. Takes in the blood-soaked uniform, the 1,000-yard stare, the trimmer in Hunter's hands that won't stop. You hit? Shrapnel, shoulder, It's nothing. Let the doc decide that. Come on, let's get you out of here. But Hunter doesn't move. His eyes are locked on the window, on the ventilation pipe below it, on the carefully constructed illusion that almost got him killed. She was here, he says. Ghost. She was here. I had her. I threw a grenade and she was just gone. Hayes exchanges glances with his men. The look that says they're dealing with someone who might not be entirely stable. Okay, Hayes says carefully. We'll sweep the building. If there's evidence, we'll find it. But right now, we need to get you checked out. Can you walk? Can he? Hunter tests his legs. They hold. Barely. Yeah, I can walk. They move as a unit. Hunter in the center, Marines forming a protective box around him. Down the stairs, through the ground floor, out into the courtyard where the morning sun is already turning the air thick and hot. Hunter sees the bodies, the ones he's been staring at all night. In daylight, they look smaller, more pathetic, just meat cooling in the heat. 4 KIA here, Hayes says into his radio. Delta 4 element. All confirmed hostile contact. We need recovery. The Marines move to the building across the courtyard, the one where Jax died. Hunter follows. Has to follow. Has to see it through. They find Jax on the second floor, exactly where Hunter left him. The bandage is crusted black. His skin has gone waxy. Flies have found him. One of the younger Marines, can't be more than 19, makes a choking sound and turns away. Hayes kneels beside the body, checks for tags, finds them. Corporal Danny Jackson, he reads. Fuck. I knew this kid. We did training together at Lejeune. He looks up at Hunter. What happened? Stone fragment from a near miss. Took his eye. Went into shock. I couldn't... Hunter stops. Can't finish. I couldn't get him out. You stayed with him for 48 hours. Under fire. You stayed. It's not a question, but Hunter answers anyway. Yeah. Hayes stands, places a hand on Hunter's shoulder. The gesture is brief, awkward, but genuine. You did what you could. That's all any of us can do. They bag Jax's body. The sound of the zipper is obscenely loud in the quiet room. Final. Absolute. Hunter watches them carry him out, watches them load him into the MRAP like cargo, like all the other cargo that gets shipped home in boxes with flags draped over them. Come on, Hayes says. Your turn. The medevac bird is waiting on a cleared LZ 2 blocks away. Dual rotor Chinook, rotors already spinning, crew chief waving them in. Hunter climbs aboard, sits on the canvas seat, stares at nothing. A corpsman appears, young, competent, starts checking Hunter over with practiced efficiency. Where are you hit? Shoulder, left side. Hands cutting away his uniform, cleaning the wound. It's not deep, just a flesh wound, the kind that looks worse than it is. You're lucky, the corpsman says. 1/4 inch deeper and it would have nicked the subclavian artery. You'd have bled out in minutes. Lucky. The word tastes like ash. The Chinook lifts off. Hunter watches Fallujah drop away below him. The city looks different from above, almost peaceful. Just blocks of tan and brown. Could be anywhere in the Middle East. Could be nowhere. The dead don't show up from altitude. Sergeant Hayes, Hunter says suddenly. The building. Ghost's position. Did they find anything? Hayes is sitting across from him. He pulls out a small evidence bag. Inside is the shell casing, the one Ghost left. Just this, 7.62 Dragunov, Russian manufacture. Nothing else. No prints, no DNA, no sign anyone was ever there except this one casing. And the ventilation setup, the battery fan? Yeah, we found that. Clever. Set up to blow air through the pipe on a timer. Creates a thermal signature, makes you think someone's breathing in the room. Hayes studies Hunter's face. She played you. She did more than that. She had me. Point blank. Could have killed me. Didn't. Why not? Good question. Hunter has been asking himself the same thing for the last hour. I don't know. Maybe she was out of ammo. Maybe she was making a point. Maybe... He trails off. Maybe what? Maybe killing me wasn't the goal. Maybe showing me I wasn't as good as I thought. That was the goal. Hayes is quiet for a moment. Then, you know they're going to debrief the fuck out of you. Command is going to want everything. Every detail. They're going to pick your brain apart looking for intel on this Ghost. Let them try. The flight takes 30 minutes. They land at Camp Fallujah. Hunter is escorted, not quite under guard, but close, to the medical tent. More poking, more prodding, x-rays, bandages, a tetanus shot that hurts worse than the actual wound. Then they take him to debrief. The room is small, air-conditioned. It feels obscene, that air conditioning. Jax is dead, and Hunter is sitting in climate-controlled comfort drinking coffee from a paper cup. 3 officers, a colonel with intelligence tabs, a major from S2, a captain who takes notes on a yellow legal pad. They want everything. Hunter tells them. The initial contact, the shell casing, the jammed radio, the 48 hours in hell, the Marines who died, the grenade, the empty room, the moment Ghost walked away. Describe her, the colonel says. Small, maybe 5'4", 5'5", pale, light hair, almost white, blue eyes, wearing high-end tactical gear, not insurgent stuff. European kit, maybe. She moved like she had professional training, military or law enforcement. How old? Hard to say. Late 20s, early 30s maybe. And you're certain she was female? Certain. The officers exchange looks. The major types something on a laptop. That matches an intel brief we got 6 weeks ago, he says. Unconfirmed reports of a female sniper working with insurgent elements, rumored to be Eastern European, former military, possibly Estonian or Latvian, working as a contractor. We thought it was bullshit, urban legend. It's not, Hunter says flatly. The colonel leans forward. Why do you think she let you live? I don't know. Guess. Hunter is silent for a long moment, thinking about those cold eyes, that slight smile, the nod of recognition. Professional courtesy, he says, finally, or ego. She wanted me to know she was better, that I was alive because she allowed it, that every breath I take from now on is her gift. That's fucked up, the captain mutters. That's war, Hunter replies. They question him for 3 more hours, every detail, every moment, drawing diagrams, marking positions on maps, building a profile of Ghost. But Hunter knows it won't matter. Ghost is gone, probably already out of the country, back to wherever she came from, counting her money, planning her next job. She's a professional, and professionals don't stick around after the mission is complete. Finally, they let him go. Escort him to a transit tent where he's supposed to wait for transport back to his unit. But Hunter doesn't go to the transit tent. He walks. Just walks. Through the base. Past the PX and the chow hall and the rows of containerized housing units. Past Marines playing basketball on a makeshift court. Past a chaplain conducting services in an open-air chapel. He walks until he reaches the far edge of the base, a section of concrete barrier that overlooks the city. Fallujah stretches out before him, smoke rising from a dozen fires, the distant sound of gunfire, a helicopter banking low over the rooftops. Somewhere out there, Ghost's final position sits empty. Evidence already collected. Scene already processed. Just another room in another building in another city that's been dying for years. Hunter pulls out the one piece of evidence he kept. Didn't tell the debriefers about it. Doesn't know why he kept it. The shell casing from the shoe factory. The first one. The message that started everything. He turns it over in his fingers. The brass is dull, scratched, but the primer is still clean, unfired. It wasn't a real casing at all, just a dummy round, a prop. Ghost's first message: I don't need real ammunition to kill you. The idea of me is enough. And she was right. Hunter closes his fist around the casing, feels the metal bite into his palm. 12 American snipers before him, all dead, all gone. And him, number 13. Still breathing, still standing, but not because he was better, not because he was luckier, not because he did anything right. Just because Ghost decided to let him live with the knowledge that he wasn't good enough, that he would never be good enough. Behind him, someone approaches, boots on gravel. Hunter doesn't turn. Sergeant Hunter? A voice he doesn't recognize. They need you in medical. Something about a psychological eval. Tell them I'm fine. With all due respect, Sergeant, you don't look fine. Hunter finally turns. It's a private. Young. Looks like he just got in country. Uniform still clean. Eyes still bright with whatever idealism brought him here. Give it time, Hunter thinks. Give it time, and Fallujah will take that from you. Take everything from you. You ever wonder why we're here, Private? The kid blinks. Sergeant? Here, in this city, fighting this war. You ever wonder what it's for? I mean, freedom? Democracy? We're helping these people. We're not helping anyone, Hunter says quietly. We're just here, moving through the motions. Killing and dying. And for what? So this city can keep bleeding? So more Marines like Jax can go home in boxes? So snipers like Ghost can rack up their kill counts? I don't understand. You will, eventually, if you live long enough. Hunter walks past the private, back toward medical, back toward whatever comes next. Behind him, the sun continues its arc across the sky. The city continues to burn. The war continues. Always continues. In the medevac tent, they make him lie down on a cot, give him something for the pain, something to help him sleep. But sleep doesn't come. Every time Hunter closes his eyes, he sees her, standing in that doorway, Dragunov steady, eyes cold and empty and somehow sad. Why didn't she shoot? The question circles endlessly through his mind. No answer, no resolution. Just the question, over and over, like a record skipping. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe there is no answer. Maybe that's the point. Ghost wanted him to live with uncertainty, with doubt, with the knowledge that he survived not through skill, but through someone else's whim. That's worse than dying. That's a different kind of death. The kind that happens slowly, from the inside out. Hours pass, or maybe minutes. Time has stopped making sense. Finally, a doctor appears, checks his vitals, pronounces him stable. "You're being shipped out," the doctor says. "Back to Germany for further eval and treatment. Probably stateside after that. Your war is over, Sergeant." Over. The word should feel like relief, like salvation, but it just feels empty. What about Corporal Jackson? He's being processed for transport home. His family has been notified. There will be a ceremony when you get back. Full honors. Full honors. A flag. A speech. A 21-gun salute. All the theater of honoring the dead. But Jax will still be dead. Will still be gone. Will still be just another name on a wall that nobody visits except on holidays when they're supposed to care. "Can I see him before they ship him out?" The doctor hesitates. "I don't think that's a good idea. You need to focus on your own recovery." "I need to see him." Something in Hunter's voice makes the doctor step back, makes him nod slowly. Okay, I'll arrange it." They take Hunter to the mortuary affairs tent. It smells like chemicals and death, poorly masked by industrial disinfectant. Bodies in bags line one wall. So many of them. Too many. They bring him to Jax. Unzip the bag enough to show his face. Someone cleaned him up, removed the bandage, closed the eyes. Both of them, somehow, though one socket is empty. Made him look almost peaceful. Almost. Hunter stands there for a long time, looking at what used to be Danny Jackson from South Carolina. 23 years old. Wanted to be a teacher. "I'm sorry," Hunter says finally. "I'm sorry I couldn't get you out. I'm sorry for all of it." The body doesn't answer. Can't answer. That's the thing about the dead. They're past words. Past forgiveness. Past everything. "They're sending me home," Hunter continues. "Back to the world. And you're going home too. Different kind of home. Different kind of return." He pauses. "I don't know which of us got the better deal." He reaches into his pocket, pulls out the dummy shell casing, the one from Ghost. For a moment, he considers putting it in the bag with Jax. A memorial. A marker. Something. But then he closes his fist around it. Keeps it. Because Jax is gone. This is Hunter's burden to carry. His reminder. His trophy and his curse. "Rest easy, brother," Hunter says. Zips the bag closed. Turns away. Walks out of the tent into the Iraqi sun. 3 days later, Hunter is on a C-130 cargo plane flying west, away from Fallujah, away from the war, away from Ghost. But not really, because Ghost is in his head now, in his dreams, in every shadow that moves at the edge of vision, in every window that might hide a sniper, in every moment of doubt. Ghost won, not by killing him, by letting him live. The plane climbs through clouds. Hunter stares out the window at nothing, at the endless blue that looks like winter sky, like cold eyes, like death that didn't come when it should have. Someone sits down next to him, a Marine, headed home like everyone else on this bird. "First time?" the Marine asks. "What?" "Going home. First time leaving the sandbox?" "Third," Hunter says, "but it feels like the first." "Yeah, I know what you mean. Nothing's ever the same after. You go back to the world and everything looks different, smaller, like it doesn't matter anymore." "Does it matter?" The Marine thinks about that, shrugs. "I don't know, man. I really don't know." They sit in silence. The plane flies on. Below them, Iraq continues. The war continues. Ghost continues. Somewhere, somehow, hunting. Always hunting. And Hunter knows with absolute certainty that he'll never stop looking over his shoulder, never stop checking windows, never stop wondering if today is the day Ghost decides she's done playing, the day she finishes what she started in Fallujah. Maybe that's the real victory. Not the bodies, not the count, but the fear, the doubt, the way it changes you, turns you into something less, something that jumps at shadows, something that can't trust the peace when it comes. War has a face now, pale, cold, beautiful in its cruelty, and it's smiling, always smiling. The C-130 flies on through endless sky, taking Hunter home, taking him away from war. But war doesn't leave him. It never does.